Welcome to Story Guy, where parents putting their kids on our motorcycle to take pics without consent. My husband and I live in a region with a lot tourism, and we own a rare motorcycle. It's a very valuable old-timer my husband spent a fortune for to restore. We're living on the countryside, but when we're going on day trips, it happens that we park our bike in more busy places. When taking a break, for lunch or coffee, I understand the motorbike draws attention, and that some people snap pics of it, but we increasingly have to deal with parents who randomly put their kids on it to do so. Last weekend, we stopped a couple who was just about to do it, and they gave us the usual excuse. We would have asked, but nobody was around. Just like not being around makes our bike public property. Minutes later, after just ordering food, we caught another couple swinging their kid's bum on the seat of our bike. This time, it wasn't just a toddler, but an at least 6-year-old boy. We received a lot of feedback, also from not entitled parents, to call the police or make a big scene. But frankly, it has become so frequent, we just decided to avoid such places, cause we grew tired of seeing toddlers kicking the tank or mothers pulling the zippers of their handbags along it by hauling their offspring up and down. 10 years ago, this rarely ever happened. We can tell the entitlement intensifies. I couldn't buy a ticket because of entitled mother not mine. Hello. So this isn't that bad, but I was pretty pissed about this. Just so you know, I bought the ticket after. So for context, I was in my country's capital city. I had go see a therapist. So, after my appointment, I wanted to go straight home. I live about 45 kilometers away from capital. I don't have my vehicle or even driver's license. So I went to the bus station to buy my ticket. There were lines. Pretty long ones too. In my country, you can't buy a ticket 10 minutes before the bus's departure. I got there 15 minutes before departure. So this lady was standing in front of me with her child and another person. The line was going relatively quick. I was second in line about 12 minutes before the departure of bus. So this lady buys 3 tickets, pays for them, and is just standing there putting some items from her bag into her purse. I'm not a confrontational person. I hate to confront people. Then she starts talking to lady behind the cash register about irrelevant stuff. Then she leaves. I was 10 seconds too late to buy my ticket. Usually on that ticket, there is a platform the bus is gonna departure from, and it changes time to time. So I had to go outside and look for my bus's platform and buy a ticket from the bus driver. I wasn't happy. I usually buy a ticket from the station. Takes less than 30 seconds, but for her, it was over 2 minutes. Just so you know, this just happened. I'm a bit upset, because it's very sunny outside, and there were no free seats on the side where there's shadow. Hope you have a great day. For not wanting to watch 16 kids. So I 17F went to my little cousin's birthday 8F. And had a nice time. She was wanting to have a sleepover with all of my younger cousins, all under the age of 11, and like 4 of her friends. The thing is that equaled to about 16 little kids. So I wasn't planning to spend the night. Neither were my other cousins 12-14. We were going to go back to my house and watch scary movies so Poppy could have the birthday of her dreams. But about an hour into the birthday, all of the little kids came up to me and asked if I could spend the night too. I told them no because I already had plans, but they kept on pushing. Then some of the parents asked and I told them the same thing. But then one of my cousins, Poppy's stepsister, came up to me and asked me to spend the night. I asked why. She told me, because her mom and all the other parents were wanting to go and hang out at the creek. I have had some issues with her mom because I used to live with them, and Poppy's parents used to dump their kids on me and run off for hours doing God knows what. Let's just say I moved out sooner than they. I decided to leave because that cat was out of the bag. I said goodbye, gave everyone hugs, then left with my other cousins. No one even complained. The whole car ride my phone was blowing up, and when I got home, checked to see, and it was Poppy's and Kay's mom Kelly, sending me voice memos, screaming at me, and angry texts. I ignored them and just turned off any notification from her. But then all of my aunts and uncles started to call me. I answered my Uncle Chris, Poppy's dad, and he said how I bailed on the kids, and now him and Kelly do not have a date night with all of our family. I asked him what he meant, and he said that Kelly said I would watch the kids so everyone could have fun. I told him I never said that, and he just hung up on me. I didn't even say anything about me spending the night with them. I said, quite the opponent, all afternoon. Chris had even asked me if I was spending the night, and I told him no as well. Me and the rest of my cousins had a good night and all, but I was rudely awoken the next morning with ice-cold water on my face. It was my Aunt Dawn and Uncle Heath standing over me angry. I got up and just got changed before I was yelled at for hours by not only them, but the rest of my family were coming over to yell at me as well. I didn't snap or yell or cry or giggle at the situation because it was so fucking stupid. Then when I finally got a chance to talk, I told them that if they wanted me to watch their kids, each of them could have put a $10 bill in my hand for each kid. And I would have done it, because I've been taking care of their kids since I was 10. And I was not about to watch 15 kids with no help and no money, because they are not even mine to take care of. I then sat back and looked at all their shocked faces, and then all of them yelled at me saying that they are family and it would be stupid for me to watch them for money. I now feel bad because family means so much to me and everyone, but I don't think it was wrong of me to ask for money to watch 16 kids. I just don't know what to do. I think ill apologies to them, but I need a second opinion. So I top. Sorry, dyslexic if there are any typos. Aida for telling my mom she shouldn't have a baby. My mom 38 is planning to have a baby with her new boyfriend of 2 months. After learning about this, I 13F told my mom that she was being extremely dumb because she is not financially or mentally ready to be having another kid. I told her she's still in the honeymoon phase, and she tells me she's known him for a year, but I tell her dating someone and being friends with one is completely different. My grandma is usually very excited about grandchildren, but even she knows that this is an extremely bad idea. My whole family thinks that she's being stupid, and we are all trying to convince her to have an abortion. My mom and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and she wants to sell my dogs. So, we don't have other things to worry about. She also wants to move in a house with my uncle so he could help us out financially or whatever. I told her that if she has to give up on my dogs and move in with my uncle, then that should tell her enough that she shouldn't be having a baby. Her boyfriend is also very immature and does nothing to help around in the house. She has barely been around for me, emotionally and physically. Her own ex-boyfriend told me he felt bad for me because how much she had neglected me when they were together. I honestly don't know what to do or say. I told her if she has that baby, go live with my dad. I don't like him that much either, but honestly, anything would be better than staying with someone who makes me feel nothing but anger all the time. All the time. I tell her I'll go with my dad. She just says, good, good. You should go so I don't have to deal with you not supporting my decision. I hate how she acts like she can live without me when I know damn well she can't. Because I'm the only one who does most of the work in the house. And I know once she has that baby, she will throw it off to me and make me take care of it. I can be honest. This is also rooted in some jealousy because she's never been a very supportive mom. And I've already been having a lot of mental issues. Mainly all because of her. And this is just making it all worse. I want her to get rid of that baby so bad. And somehow, I know I'm young, and I might be overreacting, but I genuinely cannot do this. She's already a pain to live with, but this is honestly just the cherry on top, or whatever. I can't explain everything on the top of my head, but if I'm TA, just want to know. Also if there's typos or incorrect grammar, sorry. Aida for yelling at my mom over her parenting. I 32 visited my mom 57 and sister 15 at the apartment they live in. I recently moved out a couple months ago. My mom has a temper and treats my sister negatively all of the time. She raises her voice at her for anything my sister does. She criticizes her, calls her names, screaming because a corner of the bed isn't tucked in right. Snaps at her for asking simple requests. Asks my sister if she wants to eat a certain food, and if she says no, mom will scold her and make the food anyways. Their every interactions is a hostile one. At her apartment where I was staying at for the night, I stayed my sister's room, which used to be mine. It was awful. My mom likes to donate food to churches that help the poor, and about a month ago, she received hundreds of pounds of food in large boxes. Some of these are stored in my sister's room, along with mattresses leaning against the closet space, covering it, so there's not a lot of room to hang clothes. Trash everywhere, clothes strewn, wrappers, random items. Worst is that it was full of roaches. In between the boxes, in every corner, in desk drawers, on the walls and ceiling. Big ones, clusters of babies. One pregnant one was pushing out an egg. I mentioned this to my mom, and she just insults my sister, blaming her, even though they're in the kitchen too. I say the donation items might have something to do with it. She refuses to listen and disagrees. She's never been organized at all, and the whole apartment is a mess. I start with my sis to fix her room. Eventually, my mom hears us criticize the state of the room and starts screaming at me, and I start arguing back. She got offended at something we said. She's start yelling insults, so I do too. She's threatening to call the police, keep me out of my sister's life. Says she's the mom, and she makes the decisions. But even when I stop talking back, she'll continue on loud rants that won't stop. I can't help but respond to comments that just make me too mad, including making fun of my dead dad. I'm saying bad words at her. I'm in a rage. Now, she's threatening a restraining order and kicking me out of the house I stay at, which we both built, admittedly, but from me working, she hasn't had job the last 5 years. I.e. tip.